Hello, Nicolas. So, your first fashion show ever is going to happen in 3 days.
Yes.
Can you tell me a bit about your background and how you came to design this collection?
Okay, so I started fashion school like 5 or 6 years ago in Paris because I come from Strasbourg in the east of France, and I moved in here to study fashion, which was great years. And when I graduated, I was kind of not really in the mood to get into internships and to start I could say, a basic fashion student's path and try to manage with freelance jobs, which I basically did.
So, you worked as a stylist, right?
I did work as a stylist, and I also worked as a tailor for stylists that were already been working much more and much bigger jobs than I was, because I was mainly making styling for editorials.
Okay.
And after that, I've been working a lot during a year with different brands, different stylists, with different projects. It could be drawing for brands or making dresses for other brands, or working with celebrities for tailoring with a tailor that was mentoring me.
Okay.
And or stylists that were mentoring me. It led me to great projects, which I could work on amazing jobs with amazing people. I had the opportunity to work with Jean-Paul Gaultier, for example, for a few days, which was like every student's dream, I guess. And basically during a year, that was the main thing I was doing. And
And then you decided to do your own thing?
yes, then I decided to do my own thing, because in the end I was quite tired about all the things, and not tired in the way that was not it wasn't difficult like to do. It was just difficult to be out of designing in a proper way, in like for myself. I needed to get back to creative things which are from my eye and not from someone else's.
Yep.
So I basically just gathered every thoughts that I had in my mind for several years, that I would love to make a collection on this and that, and I would love to make this piece and to make this match with that. And this basically came up to be like sort of a messy mood boards, which is now way more centered on the Matador's aesthetic, seen through movies that I love.
So, Matadors.
Yes.
Okay. And why? This is a bit of a challenging topic, right? Because it can be sexy, but it's also very violent. And how did you integrate that into your collection?
I integrated in my collection in a very, I could say, conceptual way.
Okay.
I mean, Matadors has always been a very good inspiration with fashion designers, like Gaultier, obviously, like John Galliano did amazing jobs on the Matadors and the Spanish aesthetics. And I decided to just focus on something different about this practice of the corrida, because even if it's something very violent, I focused on mainly the costumes, but in a like I said, conceptual way. I used the name of it, which is the clothing of lights in English, I would say. I'm not speaking proper Spanish, but in French is habit de lumière.
Okay.
And this is I used this as a basis for every different garments on the collection, like working basically on a cape, for example, which could be on a top, like on top of the bust, or as a kilt, which is like a similar pattern for it, and to just use the Matador aesthetic as a new way to dress a garment and to integrate garments inside garments. I also worked on the I wouldn't say femininity of the costume, but more the shapes, which are very straight and very strong, but also very soft in a way, because the colors are very very light. This is something very powdery. There is a lot of embroideries which I got totally rid of. I didn't use any embroideries on that collection because, as I said, Matador's aesthetic has been used several times in fashion, and I think embroideries do a better job than I do. So I just focused on what I could do on this subject.
Okay,
basically.
good.
This one is like a reinterpretation of the basic outfit of the Matador, but in more tailoring way. So you can see I used the shape of the sleeves, which are very focused on a big volume on the elbow. And I also kept this very tiny waist that are specific to Matador's like outfits. You can also see that the trousers inside are used as if it was an open trousers, like the Matadors on the photographies of Ruben Afanador.
Okay.
And
So let's wait. I'm going to up.
this jacket is also a reflection around tailoring, but in more about the habit de lumière, the clothing of light. I use this way glitters, as a matter of fact, because it's lights and reflecting lights and mirror. It's also a reflection on tailoring, using as a outer part the plaster fabric, which is usually inside the jackets to make that very rigid aspect, which is also on the skirts, and I gave it a bit more of a couture look, using silk tulle on top of it to make it a soft fabric and a beautiful effect on it to make it more wearable and as an outer fabric.
Okay.
This look is more a different aesthetic of the collection, which is around the kilt. So
why the kilt?
The kilt because it has a similar shape at the cape, and it's also happened to be a garment. So it's also a reflection about styling and how styling can become an aspect of corrida in the collection. So this kilt is more about also upgrading the look in a couture kind of way, with a big pleated parts in the back with a train. There is the bias cut on the front to erase the darts. There is also the inner parts of the top, which is filled with brass
Structure?
Brass structure, yes.
Okay, perfect.